Hi, YouTube. I want to talk about letting go of someday and decluttering sentimental items. Hi, friends. It's Pam. Welcome back to Growing Older, Living Bolder. Today, we're going to talk about something tender, something very emotional, and something almost all of us over 60 really struggle with. Letting go of sentimental items and the things that we've been saving for those someday moments that might come along. You know, when people think about decluttering, they picture old clothes or kitchen gadgets or a drawer full of mystery cords. But the truth is, the hardest clutter isn't the stuff that we bought, but the stuff that we were given. It's the stuff that we loved or the stuff that we meant to use, but just haven't found that need yet. That is what I call those someday moments. In my own home, the rooms that overwhelm me the most aren't the messy ones, but they're the ones that are filled with all the memories and the ones filled with the intentions. And these intentions are what I call the someday items. Those baby blankets that you were sewing at one time that just didn't quite get finished, the yarn for that blanket that was going to get crocheted. Oh, yeah, there's that treadmill that I was going to start using. And don't forget that wall decor that I was going to put up when I had time. I could go on and on about it. Maybe you have rooms like that too. Today, I want to gently walk you through this emotional part of decluttering, not to erase the past, but to honor it in a way that makes room for the life that we are living now. Let's start with something close to our hearts, those someday items. They aren't clutter, they're emotional promises that we made to ourselves. These items aren't promises that we didn't break, they were just promises that we outgrew. These items, they represent those hobbies that we thought we'd pick up again, the projects that we meant to finish, that version of ourself that we once imagined, the energy that we used to have. Releasing these sometimes objects, it's not failure, but it's more like just letting go. In order to move on, start by naming what the item actually represents to you. Every someday item carries a story. Maybe it represents a younger version of you, a dream that you once had, or maybe a season of life that has passed. When you name the meaning the item holds, you separate the memory from that object. Ask yourself the most important question. Don't ask, should I keep this or will I use it someday? But instead ask, is this for the life that I'm living now? Not the life that you lived at 40, not the life that you imagined at 50, and definitely not the life that you'd hope you have time for at 60. Just the life that you're living today. Give yourself a break. Release the pressure to let these items go. We keep someday items because we think, I really should finish this. I should learn that. And I should get back to doing this. And most difficult of all, the items given to you by a loved one. But after 60, we're not collecting new identities. We're refining the ones that matter. Letting go of a project doesn't mean that you failed. It means that you're choosing other things that are now more important to you. Maybe it is okay to keep one symbol of the item and release the rest. If the item represents a dream or a chapter, maybe keep one small symbol of it. Maybe that one skein of yarn, one handmade item, a picture of the project that you didn't get to finish. This honors the memory without keeping that weight. Some things that we need to remember, you know, it's our kids. They don't want our someday items. Kids today just are not interested in these kinds of items. Our kids don't want your unfinished craft projects, your old hobbies. They don't want those bins of maybe someday supplies. They want you, they want your presence, they love your stories, and they want to spend time with you. Letting go now, it prevents them from having to make these painful decisions later. We are letting go of guilt. So much sentimental clutter is tied to guilt. My kids might want this someday. My mother gave this to me. That was always a big one for me. My mom had really nice things, and they just were not always things that I wanted, but I still kept them. Then there's the I spent good money for this, or it feels really wrong to throw this away. Guilt just adds to that feeling of heaviness, keeping us down. Guilt is not obligation. Guilt is not your job. The bottom line, our kids just don't want our stuff. They want us. One of my daughter, she once said, "Mom, I don't need the things. I just need you." That really freed me. I want to share a short story with you. There was a moment not all that long ago when I opened a box and I hadn't touched it in years. Inside was a bunch of my son's soccer picture buttons. The ones that your child gets each year in their soccer jerseys. I had one saved for each year that he played. I used to wear them like a proud mom. That day, I lined them all up and I followed each picture from his first game to when he quit playing at about 13. I was right back in that chapter of my life. Those are really good times. They were so fun with so many good memories. And I felt that familiar tug, the one that says, just keep it. You need this to remember. But then something unexpected happened to me. I realized I didn't really need the soccer buttons. I remembered so many of his games perfectly. And I remember how busy we all were back then, how fun it was, the exhaustion, the joy. All of it lived inside me, not in that cardboard box. So I took a photo of the soccer mementos and I wrote a little note about the memory. And then, with a full heart, I let them go. Not because the memory didn't matter, but because it mattered enough to honor it with holding on to it instead of the weight of the object. Let's talk about how to start decluttering sentimental items. Standing in a cluttered room can feel like standing at the base of a mountain with a steep climb ahead of you. But mountains are climbed one step at a time, and pretty soon you're at the top. So, my simple 3-step method, I would say start with the easy sentimental items first. Those cards that you have in a drawer, the kids' art items, those cheesy souvenirs. I want you to use the 4-box method. There's a keep box, there's a donate box, definitely a trash box, and always that I'm still not sure box. And give yourself a time limit, just a few minutes per item. That's it. Choosing meaningful keepsakes is everything. You don't have to keep everything to honor the past. You just have to keep the right things. Start by separating your sentimental items into 2 groups: the things that hold a memory and the things that hold guilt about getting rid of them. I'm sure that you have those. I had a lot of those type of items. Next, choose one meaningful keepsake per person, per chapter, or per life season. Maybe it's a handwritten recipe from your mom, or maybe it's one of those baby outfits instead of a whole bin. Maybe it's a photo of an item instead of the item itself. Ask yourself, does this bring me joy today? Or does it just remind me of who I used to be? If it brings you true joy, then by all means keep it. If it brings you heaviness, then definitely let it go with love. Just that release of the item can lift that heaviness off of you, and it feels so much better. The liberation of letting go. As we wrap it up today, I want to leave you with this. Decluttering isn't always really about the stuff. It's about the freedom that comes after. There's something incredible and powerful, almost spiritual, that happens when we release the things that no longer fit our lives. The weight lifts, the room breathes, and suddenly you breathe a little easier too. Letting go of sentimental items and someday things isn't losing anything, it's gaining something. It's gaining clarity. It's gaining peace. It's gaining the ability to walk into a room and feel calm instead of overwhelmed. And the most beautiful part, every time you let go of something that once held you back, you can now make space for something new and a new chapter, a new joy in your life, a new version of yourself that isn't buried under decades of belongings. After 60, this kind of freedom feels different. It feels earned. It feels deserved. It feels like a gift that you give yourself. And remember, your kids don't want your stuff. They really just want you. They want your laughter, your stories, your presence, and your peace. So when you let go, you're not clearing a room, you're cleaning emotional space for the life that you're living now. You deserve a home that feels light. You deserve a life that feels spacious. And you deserve the freedom that comes from letting go with love. If you've enjoyed this video, I hope that you're going to give me a like, and I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. I'm a new channel, so every subscription would really be nice. Drop me a message and let me know if you're going to give this a try. And for now, don't forget, growing older is living bolder. I hope to see you again soon and watch my next episode. It'll be out soon. Thank you all.